Hello, my name is Dr. Maya Byfield. My business is The Phenomenal STEMist. I'm so excited to be here in Orange County because it's where I live. I live in Apopka, Florida. And I decided to make this business because I saw a need for underrepresented students to be successful in STEM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, math. And the best way I can do that is just provide products for parents to prepare them, whether it's a book or online STEM camps or just video podcasting. My goal is to transform this community, especially those who are underrepresented. And the way to do that is to help parents understand their children's minds and basically develop them at different stages of their lives to be prepared for a successful STEM career. Thank you so much. That's why I'm here. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. See a couple of you watching on Facebook uh, or Instagram. I'm sorry, or YouTube, or that's it. Phenomenal STEMist, Facebook, YouTube, and of course, LinkedIn. That's right, LinkedIn, LinkedIn. If you're watching from any of those platforms, please do me a favor. Give me a shout out, share, like, especially YouTube channel. Don't forget to just not just like it, but also subscribe to it. Remember to subscribe to Dr. Byfield, Dr. Maya Byfield on YouTube. But not just YouTube. Don't forget. I know Prime Day is here. Prime Day was yesterday and today. Go ahead on Amazon and pick up my book, The Phenomenal STEMist: How to Prepare a Successful STEM Student from the Womb to the University. From the Womb to the University. Good to see you all. And of course, you can like and follow me on all the social media platforms. And lastly, check out my website. If you want to find a quick link to the book, you can go to www.phenomenalstemist.com. That is where you'll find a link to the book or any of my online STEM programs. All right. With that out of the way, let's jump right in. Let's jump right in to our topic for today. Are you diversified? Are you diversified? Now, stock market's going crazy, y'all. Stock market is going crazy. And am I afraid? Am I not investing? Uh, well, let's just say I'm still adding. Well, starting next month, I'll be adding for my new um, dollar cost averaging to my Roth IRA. Right, this is around that time. So, um, I'm still strong in the stock market with my Roth IRA, my retirement account. Why? Because I don't plan to retire until 20 years from now. So I still believe I'm a Christian and I'm a Seventh Day Adventist Christian. So I believe in the second coming of Jesus Christ. So he can come anytime, but I'm occupying till he comes. So if he should tarry for 20 years, I will be. I believe that the retirement will be in a better position than stock market is now. I have my mother in a conservative retirement, but she's retired now. You understand? So it's about timing. It's about when you need the money, right? If you need the money shorter than 5 years, you may not want to be too risky. But if you are way ahead, right, then you can be a little bit risky in your investments because you have a you're in a long term path. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So my point is though, the stock market is dropping like crazy. We are in teetering on a bear market. Do you know what a bear market is versus a bull market? Okay, for those of you who don't know, the bull market is when the market is like booming, is jumping 10, 20, 15, 30% a year. It's been it's been bullish since the last recession in 2009. If you have been investing in the stock market consistently over the last 10, 15 years, you have made good money just off of your consistent investing, even in a simple, low cost index fund. But to this year, it's been sliding. It's been sliding down. The Dow Jones average is, which is I think the top 100 stocks, was down 200 points today. Well, it wasn't that bad today. In the last month, it's been going up a little bit. So there's this little kick up. But over the last 6 months, basically year to date, 7 months or so, the stock market is down 15%. 15%. And, when you start sliding like that, 20%, that's pretty good. 15% year to date. Yeah, that's pretty good. I thought it was 20%. It was 20%. I think this past week, the stock market did okay. Um, but last week it was 20% down. The S&P 500, which is the top 500 stocks, they are down only 17 points today. Not bad. Um, then past month it was doing good again. Like it went up 2%. If you invested, like if you did your dollar cost average, in the beginning of the end of last month, you would probably make about 2% on your money, right? Um, but over year to date, like the S&P 500 is down 20%. That's what I thought. Okay, so a lot of the stocks have slid 20%. Let's say you've been investing over a long period of time and you have, let's say, $500,000 in the stock market, right? What's 20% of that? You do the math. Ha, phenomenal STEMIS. Still phenomenal STEMIS. M for math. What's 25? What's 20% of $500,000? Well, 10% is 5,000. So, 10% of 500,000 is 5,000. Good evening. Good evening. Um, yep. No, what did I say? Yeah, 10% of 500,000 is 50,000. I'm sorry. Yeah, 50,000. 10% of 500,000 is $50,000. Right? So if you lost 20%, what do you lose? That means you lost 500, I mean, sorry, $100,000 in 7 months. Right? That's real. That's the tester. That's the tester. You've been raising funds over 20 years. I had $500,000 in the bank. And all of a sudden in 6 months, it's now 400,000. You lost $100,000. You see? Yeah. That can hurt. That could cause somebody to rush and sell. But here's the thing. And that's a diversified account. That's just a simple low cost index fund and diversify because everybody's down. It's a bear market. It's a bear market, or it's teetering on a bear market, people say, depending on who you talk to. Now, all through the past, I've been here with you for over 10 years, 10 years saying, listen, Don't cry, bye. Don't cry, bye. Because I've seen it drop and I've seen it come up. I've seen it drop and I've seen it come up. I keep seeing it like drop. I've seen it over years. And maybe because I lived through the first crash where people lost half their money. The first crash back in 2008. I sold in time, but here's my problem though. I didn't come back with the same money in time. I should have invested in the time frame while it was down over for a long term because there was a time when Amazon was $30, guys. And Amazon ain't $30 no more. You see? So over long term, the a big mistake for me would be just to sell everything because the market is down 20%. No, no, no. I'm not saying sell everything. I'm saying get diversified. And don't just get diversified in the stock market. What do I mean by that? Investments are more than the stock market. Truth be told, I only have two, well, I have retirements, pension, which is safer. So I have a pension that's safe, see? And I have a Roth IRA that's risky. I'm not all in the stock market. I'm not all in. I can only be all in God. That's it. I have a little bit in individual stocks and mostly index funds in a secure Roth IRA meant to invest over 20, 30 years, right? So I'm limited to $6,000. $6,000. I have a savings account for health savings account. I have a certain amount of money that I've set aside in just cash. I don't have it in the stock market because if something goes wrong, I need to get quick cash and I don't want to be selling when it's down. But I have a little bit of it after a certain amount where I think I could be able to afford a year of healthy living. I keep that cash. But then the rest of it I put in the stock market. But I'm only limited to $3,500 a year for that. Who's watching me? I see a few of you watching. Say good evening like my mother. Good evening, everyone, and where you're watching from, right? So then I have a little investment account that gets taxed. See, HSA and Roth IRAs, no tax. I put most of my money in there because it can grow exponentially tax free for both of them. A separate brokerage investment account, if I make money on it, I will be taxed on it. And I'm not a big fan of taxes, even though I'm a Democrat. So I have this small account, but that's it. I don't that I'm pretty much focused on the that $6,000 a year and then a little bit on the side for other investments. My point is I don't put all my money in the stock market. And it's for it's for years like this when it's down it's down 20%. 20%. You don't feel it when you have $5,000 in there and all you're down is 1,000. You're like, oh man, I'm down $1,000, man. Oh, you feel it when you have $500,000 in there and you down 100,000. You're like $100,000 gone in 7 months. You're like, whoa, Nelly. You tremble and you're like, Lord, and that's in a diversified account. That's in a diversified stock market account. It's pull. Nobody's getting away with it other than like the real hardcore professionals. But that's not who you are. That's not who you are. You're not a professional trader. You're a simple person like me. So what do? You have to push. You got to invest in other things, not only just the stock market. I call them alternative investments, and that's what the article for today is. Hey Sandra, they announced inflation hit 9.1%. What to do? What to do? Invest now or wait till 3 months from now, Sandra? Just a disclaimer: I am not a financial advisor. Call one. Now I'll tell you what I'm doing. What I'm doing is what I'm doing is putting money in my stock market account in cash. I saw a I don't know who he was. He's a financial advisor who said he's 35% stock market right now. He's 65% cash. Like he's heavy cash right now. Me, I'm not heavy cash, meaning I'm not selling all my stocks and putting it into cash. This is time for my stocks, uh, and some of them are low index funds, but some of them are dividend stocks. This is an opportunity to buy to get dividends and reinvest dividends for cheap stocks. If I sell all my stocks, I won't get the dividends that can buy stocks for cheap. Remember, I'm long term. Me, I don't know about what y'all want to do and trying to make a whole bunch of money in the stock market, but me, I'm not retiring, God willing, until 20 years from now. So the stock market to me is going to be much higher next 20 years from now than it is now. So I'm in my pie chart. If you know, I have lots of videos. You could go back and see. There's when I talk about know your tolerance of risk, and if you have a good brokerage account like I have, Charles Schwab, they give you your tolerance of risk. You tell them your tolerance of risk, and it tells you how much you should have in large index funds and how much large stock cap stocks and small cap stocks and international, how much cash you should have, how much bonds you should have, how much, and it tells you how much. And anytime you're out of balance with it, you're supposed to. Right now, I'm okay, so I'm just gonna stock up on cash. I'm stocking up on cash, and I'm keeping what I have. I'm investing every month though. You can invest every month and just put it in cash. Put the $6,000 in the stock market account. Whether you invest it in stocks or you keep it on the sideline, that's your decision. Hey, Sister Carter, what's going on? But here's my point. Here's my point. I'm not a person that has 100% of my money in the stock market. I don't. I have $6,000 a year from the time you start working. From the time you start working, you need to max out that Roth IRA. That's what I did. I'm gonna tell you what to do. But what I did, max out that Roth. You can only put up to $6,000 a year. I'm not messing around and putting anything else in there, because I have alternative investors. First of all, my priority is to get rid of my mortgage. So, I have extra money coming in. Am I putting the extra money outside of my $6,000? And those of you who have 401k match, outside of the match of what the company, don't throw away free money, right? Outside of my HSA, my health savings accounts, which is pre-tax and post-tax free, like that's $3,500. Those of you who are making at least $50,000 a year can max out your HSA, can max out your Roth IRA, and can do up to your like 3%. Some jobs do 5%. Max it out. And some of you, after you max out all those things, so am I invested in the stock market? Yes, in those things where tax-free ability stuff, Roth IRA, HSA, and your 401k match. No more. Am I after they meet my match? Maya, wouldn't go higher than that. Some people want to max it out, do the whole 17,000 a year. That's their choice. Me, I'm not doing that. I have a pension on the side as well for my job, not a 401k. Shout out to those of you still in the pension business. Safe. right? So my point is, I'm not gonna. So what's that extra? I have extra money than that. Like I have more money than those matches. Should I start a whole other brokerage account and just start flooding money in there? Not me, because I don't necessarily put all my eggs in one basket. I need to put money in alternative accounts. I know that's a long-winded way of saying, but I'm seeing guests on, so I'm getting questions in. So shout out to all of you who are watching. Sandra says, "What are the pro and cons of stacking up on cash?" Well, to your point, that 9% cash is just like, let's say you stock up on $10,000 last year. Let's say you stocked up on $10,000 last year. Guess how much that $10,000 is worth? It's worth 9,000. You lost $1,000 putting it in all cash, right? That's the con. You lost $1,000 putting it in all cash. So what's the difference? You lose 10%. The difference is if you had to put it in the stock market, you would have lost. It would be worth 8,000. You get me? It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you had put it in the stock market at a certain time last year, it would be worth $8,000 because the stock market went down 20% in the last 6 months. However, over a long period of time, it's not going to be worth $8,000. But over a long period of time, it's going to be worth $2,000. Inflation will eat it alive. That's why I'm not a believer in all cash for a long time. That's why I'm putting it in the stock market up to my company match because that's free money that they're giving you, and the Roth IRA, that's tax-free growth over a long period of time. I'm glad you understand, Sandra. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. I'm hoping to break this financial stuff down to you, to all of you who are watching, right? It's just simple math. So I do the company match because that's free money. I do the tax free, that's free money. They're not eating away in taxes. Both the high health savings account for those who have access to it, and um the Roth IRA, which everybody has access to unless you're making over like $160,000 a year in salary. So my point was, well, I have more money. Do I put more money in the stock market? I don't love the stock market that much. So what are some alternative investments? That's today. That's today. Top five alternative investments according to Investopedia. According to Investopedia, not Maya. I'm just reading this article because that's what it is. When I learn, you learn when you watch. Number one, peer-to-peer lending. Peer-to-peer lending. So there's this there. So just to let you know, money is made in this country off of debt. So outside of getting out of debt over a long period of good period of time. So I told you guys I'm trying to get out. I'm will be out of debt in 5 years, 100% debt, mortgage included, and I'm sticking with my plan. If you want to see my plan, go on to Phenomenal Financial Freedom Group, and there's an Excel spreadsheet that literally walks you through snowballing debt. I have snowballed all my debt outside of my mortgage. I don't have school loans. I don't have car loans. I don't have credit card loans. I have no commercial debt. I only have a mortgage. And by God's grace, I will be out of debt in 5 years. So I'm throwing money at my debt because the banks compound interest is a serious thing. The banks give you, like, if you see the interest rates for houses now, 5 and 6%. 5% on a $200,000 house is right. 5% is $10,000 a year. That's how much money they make off of you. You with $200,000 homes at 5%. Now inflation is up to 9.1. I don't know how much those rates are now because they increased the rates to try to temper inflation. So money is made off of debt, the interest off of debt. That's where money is made. Compound interest. You get compound interest from the stock market when they give you for the past 10 years, I was averaging 30% interest per year. So those of you who've been in the stock market in the past have made a killing because they've been dropping 30% for you every year. What does that mean? So if you invested $10,000 10 years ago, it's not $10,000 anymore. What is it? It is $3,000 per year times 10. You would have had $30,000 more than you had if I did it right. Yeah, $10,000, right? $1,000 is 10% times 3 is $3,000 per year, and it compounds. It compounds. So if you had invested $10,000, 10 years ago, you would have $10,000 times 10, like $3,000 times 10, an extra $30,000 above your 10, plus the compounding part of it, which is more. And don't start with the whole continual investing. You get it? So that's interest. But right now it's going down. So you're not making that it's taking money away. So what do? You may have to do an alternative investment outside of continuing with your dollar cost average over long term. Do something alternative on top of that to help make up for the stock market crashing. Let's see what people are saying. Do you believe the US dollar will have value in 2040? Yeah. I'm a believer in American system. I believe that if the US dollar crashes, as a Seventh-day Adventist Christian, I believe that's when the Lord will come. So I am basically occupying and banking on the 10 toes of capitalistic system as I live my righteous life and help other people get free in the process. So they're not totally bound to whatever people tell them to do because they need to financially survive. But yeah, I'm not a believer that something else is going to take over this system right here. This is the last great system in my belief system, but that's not something I can prove scientifically. That's my faith talking, right? So yes, I believe the dollar will have value. There'll be inflation, so the cost of things will be more. So the thing, like, just like 20 years ago, 20 years ago when I was in college, 25 years ago when I was in college, gas cost $1. So my $100 could do 100 gallons of gas. My $100 in my hand right now could do 100 gallons of gas. In 2022, gas is $4. My $100 can't do 100 gallons of gas. What's the math in that? Mm? It can only do 25 gallons. You see, that's inflation. So the dollar ain't the same in the terms of inflation, in terms of cost, but will the dollar still have value? Absolutely. But what you're gonna have to do is have more dollars. Those of you who are young, even those of you who are old, and you're trying to retire now, you think you stop investing? I tell this to my mother all the time. My grandaunt, my grandmother's sister, two sisters. One is 90, one is 100. That's 30 more years of inflation. 30 more years of inflation. So just like last 30 years ago, things only cost $1 and now it's $4. Well, 30 years from now, things that are $4 is going to be more. You can't depend on your 1980s and 1990s pension for 2040. You can't. So that means you have to invest too. You have to invest too for your elder care. Yep, 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 yep. Hey, Sister Dimitri. How you doing? Good to see you all. Yes, you are. Stop. The devil is a lie. Yes, you are. With your whole going to EOS Fitness, doing sports 3 days a week, and going on the treadmill, walking. Mommy, you are healthier than me. You have a better BMI than me. And so since you're doing all that, you better invest. I got you. I got you. Cash money will have value with all this technology. Well, it won't be a dollar cash, but it's still going to be the American dollar. The American dollar is not the paper. The American dollar is not the paper. Like I don't even carry. I got this from a birthday. Like, this was one of the roll up birthday things my friends gave me. I still have it. They're all rolled up in it. I don't use cash. But it's still a dollar. A dollar in paper versus a dollar on the number system of the computer is still a dollar. Don't get it twisted. Don't let these Bitcoin people fool you and decentralized banks. The banks of America will stand the test till the end of time. And when it stops, listen, when it stops lasting, then shall the Lord come. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right, here we go. Here we go. Good to see you too, Sister Taylor. So, number one, peer to peer lending. So, there's something called the lending club. You can create a lending club account where you lend people money using the internet and you get interest from their loans to you. This is an alternative investment. What I mean, this is an investment that has nothing to do with the stock market, but that people make interest. They make 10, 15, 5 to 15% interest on their money. So on years where the stock market is crashing 20%, you don't only like your money is not only growing based on the stock market. You have peer-to-peer lending. Number 1, the first alternative investment. So check it out. I'm not saying you should do it. I'm saying this is an alternative investment that makes people money sometimes. Of course, any investment is a risk. But cash only is a risk too. I told you before, inflation is eating away at cash. So the $10,000 you have today will not be able to buy much 20 years from now. So you have to have something that compounds and adds to. Assets are things that create money. Stop buying depreciable items like cars and clothes and furniture only. I'm not a hater on cars. The car I drive. So I would be phony to say don't get a nice car. But what I'm saying is, along with getting those nice things that you like, make sure those are not the only things you get. Question: why it's an issue when the government prints money? Because if there's only $1 in the system, everybody trying to get this dollar. People are working hard to get this dollar, right? So therefore, it's like supply and demand. It's like, wow, there's not a lot of money in the system, so people will. It's like there's only $1 in the system. You think, and there's 3 people. Like the fruit stands, they can raise their prices if they want to. They can raise the prices if they want to, but I don't have no money to buy it, so the fruit is just gonna die. You get it? The fruit's gonna die. So if I want to make some money and not let the fruit die and actually have somebody spend it, I have to lower my prices to allow for this dollar that's only in the system to spread out amongst 3 people. So I'll give 30 cents to this person, 30 cents to this person. So now that means only 3 people have 30 cents. That's all they have, 30 cents. So that means they're gonna have to sell the fruit for 30 cents. Because that's the only money that we have, right? But what if we got $3? What if we got $3 in the system? Then everybody gets $1. Everybody gets $1. Like, whoa, we rich. We don't. Everybody don't get 30 cents. Everybody gets $1. So guess what? The people who would sell the fruit stand are like, well, everybody has $1. That means I can sell it for more than 30 cents, or I can sell it for 50 cents, or I can sell it for 80 cents. So then I can buy the 80 cents and still get my little 10, 20 cents left over, and I'm happy. Yeah, I am serious. So what happens is, and it's not necessarily because they're trying to blame the stimulus, because it's a combination of it all. I believe that when the former president lowered taxes for everyone, that flooded the money. Nobody wants to talk about that. That flooded, everybody started getting cash because they're not paying taxes. So there's extra cash in people's pockets. And then COVID happened and the stimulus checks. So then they flooded everybody's with stimulus money. It's the taxes first. It's the low taxes first. So everybody has this cash, extra cash sitting in the bank, and then they give the stimulus check, right? And then the government prints money to do that. They have to print money to do that. They flood the system with cash. They give to give stimulus. So now everybody has cash. That means it's not as worth much. So so then the people can raise prices. So since you have all this money, I can charge $5 for gas. When you didn't have money, I couldn't charge $5 for gas. So I had to charge $2 for gas because it just the money wasn't there. That's what happens when you that's the problem when you print money, it causes inflation. It leads to more money being in the system and therefore people who are selling increasing their charges. Yeah. But everybody don't get the same money, right? Yeah, your hard working money. Number 2. Number 2, real estate. Real estate has nothing to do with the stock market. You can buy properties and you can rent them out. Buy properties, rent them out. Now you have to have a serious, in my opinion, mindset on being a landlord. Because being a landlord ain't no joke. You see what happened in COVID times where people when they had to do the freeze on the rent payments, people still had to pay their mortgage, and people weren't paying rent, and they couldn't evict them for years, months to up to years. That ain't right. So there's high risk. There's high reward though in real estate. So if you get a good property manager, if you in a good state, things like that. I see a lot of people joining. Yo, tell me who's watching. Greet me. Good to see you all. Back to my original point, there's high risk in real estate, but there's high reward. Let's say you don't want to be a a landlord. Well, then there's some companies called, according to Investopedia, Fundrise. Fundrise is, I hear, is pretty good, where you can invest in residential properties without being a landlord and make interest off of that. Pear Street, Fundrise. All these things that I'm giving you are in the description box. There's a link to the article that I'm reading. Right. Number 3, we're talking about alternative investments that are not according to the stock market that you can invest in to make money, especially in times where the stock market is going down. Let me see what people are saying. Turn those apartments into Section 8, can't lose. Well, I've had situations where Section 8 and they had to still there were still issues because of the way they treated the building, the apartment complex. So, but you're right. I was thinking that too, Sister Dimitri. I don't think you can send an apartment into Section 8. You have to make sure that you buy a house that doesn't have stipulations as to who you can rent to. Because don't be careful in buying a house and then trying to flip it to Section 8, and they're like, you can't do that here, or you can't even rent here. You have to be a homeowner here, right? You want to obey the laws. You want to make money while obeying laws. That's key. Number three, gold. Gold is a part of my portfolio. That's right. Especially in times of inflation and stock market loss. Investing in gold. You could literally invest in bullions, coins, bars. That can you could literally do that. You could invest in gold ETFs or just straight gold itself, commodities, right? Always have that asset class. It's the most sought after asset class, and it's usually sought after during times of downturn. So you need to do it when things are high. Like when the stock market was booming, you should have invested in gold because it was cheap then. So when the stock market is crashing, guess what's going up? You see, that's what I say. Are you diversified? Meaning, when something's going wrong on this end, do you have something going up on the other end? It's necessary. Number four, we're talking about the top 5 alternative investments according to Investopedia. Number four, owning your own business, entrepreneurship. I'll tell you that has worked for me. Just to remind you, those of you who are watching, my book is on Amazon. It's prime time. Amazon Prime was yesterday and today. Don't forget to purchase it. Purchase it for yourself. Purchase it for someone you know that has children that want to be successful in STEM from the womb to the university. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember, I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers. Those of you watching, subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the notification button. And of course, you can find my book. You could go directly onto www.phenomenalstemist.com where you could click the link. Click the link for the book. It'll send you straight to Amazon. But there are also other online STEM programs available for your children. That's just my commercial. See, I got a commercial. That's business. Own your own business. Own your own business. I haven't made a whole lot of money, but I've made money. Right, Sister Carter? Is coming to the shout out to the tie. Shout out to the treasurer of Patmos, right? Right? I've made some money through selling of books, through selling of online camps, through consultancy speaking outside of my job. So when the stock market is crashing, I still get honorariums. I still get royalties from Amazon publishing. I still, I still get checks from parents who have their kids in STEM programs. This is awesome. It only happens though if you diversify. You own your own business and create even a part-time business where something gets added to the coffers. Add to the coffers, especially during times of famine. Lastly, equity crowdfunding. Number 5, we're talking about the top 5 alternate investments. Equity crowdfunding, right? So let's say you don't want to own your own business, you don't want to do real estate, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. There are some crowdfunding accounts where you own companies, you invest in other people's businesses as startup funds. Venture capitalists. You got people who got into Facebook on the early part. They were venture capitalists. They invested in Facebook when it was young, and then Facebook blew up, and so they blew up. That's so you could be a mini venture capitalist. We call it equity crowdfunding, meaning sometimes startup companies seek out the public's investment outside of venture capital investment. But the same mindset or the same thing happens. You invest when they're small, and if they blow up, you blow up. So there's some sites called, the one I heard is really good is Seed Invest, but there's Angel List, Circle Up, WeFunder. These are equity crowd investment website. Like I said before, all of these investments are risks, but you can't get rewards if you don't do risk, right? Can't be just cash. So I'm going to be with straight up with me. i- I'm going to look into multiples of these 5. Mhm. After, like I said before, I have a goal to get out of debt in 5 years. So I'm going to put majority of my money in my mortgage. It ain't going in the stock market. Cuz let me tell you, getting rid of the interest on my mortgage is a lot of money compared to the stock market, especially in these times where the stock market is going down and you may not make a lot over every year. But one thing's for sure. So those of you who have credit card debt shouldn't even be this should be after you're thinking about expanding yourself in the future. Right now, those of you who have credit card debt with a 25% interest, like can you imagine having credit card debt? Let's say you have $5,000 and it's 20% interest because some of it's more. Sometimes it's 30% interest. But let's say $5,000 at 20% interest, right? That's $1,000 every year. Every year you're paying. So if you're only paying the minimum, you're adding $1,000 on top of your 5,000. So next year you'll have about $6,000. The year after that you'll have about $7,000. So getting rid of that credit card debt is you gain 20% off of that $5,000. You gain $2,000. So your primary goal should be your commercial debts, car loans, and credit cards. Get out of that first, and do my snowball method to do that over time. But my point is, sometimes the debts aren't that bad. If it's only 3%, if you have a 3% mortgage, you don't want to put all your money in your mortgage because you're not saving that much interest. 3% of it is not a lot. So I want to get over it in a reasonable amount of time because I don't want to be indebted to anyone. But I'll get out of debt over a period of time. So I'm only going to give a certain amount of money to my debts. So I'll still have a little bit of money left over to invest. Stock market is important, but just my Roth IRA, that's me. The HSA, health savings, is important. So I'll get that done. But everything else, I'm going to look at other things, other alternatives. They didn't say Bitcoin in here because Bitcoin is pretty risky, but that's also an alternative investment, cryptocurrency. I have a little bit in there. I told you that. I told you like a little bit, not a lot. So just diversify. I hope this was pretty clear. I saw a lot of you out here tonight, so I'm glad you came to watch, and I hope I was clear and you enjoyed it. Next Wednesday, can you make a tutorial on how to create an LLC? I would love to build a better business credit. Sandra, I don't know how to I don't know if I could do a tutorial on that. But what I can do is I can look for an article and talk about the article. Like I said before, I'm not really a advisor, but I will look for an article and I will talk about the best articles on how to build business. I do actually. If you look in my phenomenal financial freedom group on Facebook, I know you're watching from YouTube, so I have an old video discussing how to build a business. Um, if I find it, I will download it and upload it to YouTube as a replay, and I'll do that. I'll put this replay in it. You can make sure you click the notification bell so that you know when I uploaded it. I think because I actually talked about how to build what different businesses are like sole proprietorship, LLC, because different states do different things. So it's difficult to do a tutorial on LLCs because different states have different laws. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is actually I'm gonna look on the old videos in Phenomenal Financial Freedom section of my YouTube. If you don't see it, I really just started YouTube. So if you don't see it, I will look for my old videos on how to build a business, download it from Facebook, and then upload it to YouTube. I'll do that for you this week. Any other questions? Guys, it's been fun talking to you. I love. Oh, you know what? I got on at 8 o'clock this week, and I should have gotten on at 8:15. I guess that's why people were late. They were actually on time. I'm sorry. Those of you who joined at 8:15, my bad. I forgot I said 8:15 and not 8 o'clock. So I'll see you guys at 8:15 next week. Next week, Wednesday. Let's see. Sister Taylor said you can incorporate in any state, even if you don't live there. Mm-hmm. 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 That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Sorry, 8:15. I wasn't thinking. Florida is the easiest state to do incorporation. INC you're talking about, right? It was pretty easy for me to do my business here. And they have like if what I would suggest, Sandra, is that you go to your what's the building called? It's the building not Supreme Court, City Hall. So if you live in a small town, like I live in a small town of Apopka, Florida, and City Hall, you go there and they have like a nice pamphlet on how to create a business in Florida. And it gave me the nice checklist. So what you could do is also Google checklist, like how to build a business checklist in your state. But each county has different rules. Like Orange County, I live in Orange County, Florida. I have to pay taxes for them. I have to pay taxes for Apopka. I have to pay certain things, right? If I have a business here, another good way to find out how to build a business to get a better tutorial than me is your chamber of commerce. You go to it these or even your small business associations in your community. They're free. They're free. Yes, for Florida it's Sunbiz. For Florida it's Sunbiz. Yep. So I would start with, like I'm telling you, there are really great resources that are free for the community. You just have to tap them. And that's what I tell my students all the time. Gotta use your resources. You gotta tap into your resources. All right, guys. It was great. It was great talking to you. You guys have a great night. It's a good thing I started at 8. We went long today. I'll try to remember to do 8:15, not 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock next time. Like and subscribe. See ya.